Hi there! In this video we'll be covering how to find someone to write a book for me. There could be awesome writers within your network, people you know, and I'll teach you how to find them. By the end of this video you will learn how to find writers within your network, how to find writers online, and how to hire a ghostwriter after you've connected with one. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. I'm sure if you think deeply and really consider it, there are writers and authors in your network that you know. There may be people who've written books. There may be people who know people who've written books. There may be people that you're connected with on LinkedIn who've published books. There's someone within your network who's written a book, and they would be a great resource to talk to. They may know people through their own journey who may be able to help you publish your book. An interesting tip for you is to pick up a book that you want to emulate and flip open to the acknowledgments page in the book. See who's credited, see who's listed as a writing coach or a helper or somebody who helped to organize my thoughts. These are typically book coaches and ghostwriters, and these are the kinds of people that you want to interact with if you're interested in getting help in writing a book. Lots of ghostwriters can be found online, but it takes some time to dig through this process and figure out kind of the good ones and figure out people who can actually help you. It's easy to find people who are interested in taking your money for something that you want to have that's elusive, that's out of reach. That could be true for anything, and it's definitely true for the book process. You want to find people who can actually help you get to your goals, who can help you take the next step in your life. There's so many people in the book world who are simply interested in taking your money, or they have this model or the system or this process that is going to be super easy for you, but it might not be easy. You know, it's really important to, instead of just looking at the first person you find, to really do your research, to really do your homework, and also to think about what goals you want to have for this process, how you want to get there. You know, it's one thing to hire somebody, but you want to know that they're qualified. You want to know that they're established. You want to know that they're going to be able to get you across the finish line. It's easy to want to just call up a ghostwriting firm. Very popular ones are easy to find on Google and just reach out to them. They're a firm, they're established, they have all these New York Times best-selling names attached to them, but it's kind of murky. You know, you pay tens of thousands of dollars. How much of that money actually goes to the writers? How much of that money goes to the people who work on your books? Probably not a lot of it. A lot of it goes to operations, goes to executives, goes to people in the background, goes to advertising. You know, you're basically monetizing the process to get the next person to sign up. And that's a difficult thing. You know, it's frustrating. I know that I've worked with different firms and companies, and it's always frustrating looking at the money that's left on the table or the money that goes to other things beyond the writing process. You know, a lot of times when you work with these top firms, you don't know where the money's going and you don't know that you're getting quality. That's the scary thing, you know, because if all your money is going to other places and not a lot of it's going to the writer, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for concern. You may end up having somebody write your book who's not really that qualified, and they might not be able to help you in the way that you need to be helped. Some reputable outlets to consider when looking for ghostwriters. LinkedIn's a good one. I'm on LinkedIn. There's a lot of ghostwriters on LinkedIn. I think it's a great way to find very established people, and there's a authenticity level there because it's all out in the open. You know, if you're a credible person, if you're trusted, other people will say that. Other people will write that in comments. You know, if you're not, it's really hard to find your footing and to really break free and establish yourself that way. So LinkedIn's a great place. Readsy's a good website. Readsy is a marketplace in a way of lots and lots of book professionals. And if you're interested in finding a book professional, Readsy is a great place to look. Another reputable outlet is Gotham Ghostwriters. There is a database of thousands of ghostwriters that work with Gotham, that get pitches from Gotham, and then apply for them and interview for them. And I've been through that process a couple times on the ghostwriting side, so it's really been interesting to see how they operate and see the kinds of high quality projects that come through. So that's definitely a high quality option. An outlet that I'm proud of and proud to be a part of is called Book This. It's a group, a monthly meetup that I started with another ghostwriter, Isabella Talbot, and lots of authors and writers and ghostwriters and coaches come to our meetings, and we just talk through different issues we're facing, opportunities, challenges, the things that we're encountering. And it's an awesome place to meet people who want to help you. If you want to learn more, if you want to attend one of our meetings, head to bookthistalk.com and check it out. Sign up for emails and you can get an invite for a free meeting. When you end up finding a ghostwriter you want to work with, interview them, talk to them, read their writing, talk to their references. If you think of it like hiring a nanny to watch your kids or hiring somebody for a job, do your homework. If you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to work with a high-tier professional, you want to know that they're professional, you want to know that they can do a good job, you want to know from previous clients what they're like. What are they like to work with? How professional are they? Do they miss meetings? Do they miss deadlines? Are they accountable? Do they work through issues? What's the overall experience like? Did the book get published? It's one thing to see the results of a book. It's another thing entirely to talk to people whose shoes you want to be in a year or two from now. These are people who went through this process, published a book, and are on the opposite side of this. You want to see what their life is like. You want to see how the book benefited them. You want to see how they worked with the ghostwriter, because hiring a ghostwriter is a big thing. You want to make sure you get the right one. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who's a high-class professional. You want to work with somebody who knows what they're doing. It's going to save you tons of time, effort, money, and frustration. Being able to choose the right ghostwriter instead of having to make the wrong choice and then have to fix it later. So doing your homework is a huge part of this process, and it's going to save you tons of strife in the end if you can get this right and make sure to put all those efforts into place at the beginning of the process. For so many of the clients I worked with, I'm not their first ghostwriter. They worked with somebody else before me. They spent tens of thousands of dollars. They didn't get the book done. They were frustrated. They were upset. Sometimes their ghostwriter actually ghosted them, which is just a horrible thing. You don't want somebody to disappear. More often than that, there's other things that pop up. Maybe they're not a good fit for, connection-wise, maybe there's friction there. Maybe the ghostwriter isn't really that good of a writer, which does happen. Maybe they're just not adept at handling this kind of book. There's so many things that can go wrong with that relationship, but so many of the times that I work with somebody, they've already been hurt before. It's kind of like a relationship and it goes bad, and then you kind of try not to carry that negativity into the next relationship, but it happens, and it's really frustrating for me to be in that position, to see the strife that they've been through, to see the stress, to see the frustration, and to try to build back trust. Building back trust and keeping trust is tantamount. It's crucial for a ghostwriter. And, I adore that process of being able to build trust, because this book is only going to happen with a trusting relationship. You can have books be written under non-trusting relationships, but it's not the same. It's really not the same, and you're gonna feel just that little bit of nagging. Do I trust this person? Are they gonna really do the job? I feel like I'm carrying this all by myself. You're a busy person. The reason that you're interested in this in the first place is because you're too busy. Maybe you want somebody who's more experienced as a writer, who has more free time to be able to write the awesome story that you have. There's some reason. Maybe the project is even too big for one person. I've had projects like that too, where the author is somebody who's written many books before, but they were tackling something that was beyond them, that was so big that they needed help. You're interested in seeking out ghostwriting help because of the fact that there's this mountain that you can't climb on your own, and you want to be able to know that you're working with a seasoned, trusted guide as you climb up that mountain. You don't want to be going it alone, or you don't want to be going at it with somebody who doesn't have the experience. So really doing the homework, doing your digging now, really exploring and making sure that there's trust and making sure that there's a connection. Hop on the call with somebody before you hire them. Have a conversation or two. See what kind of connection you have, what kind of connection you can build. and let it build and grow from there. It's an awesome thing. When it works out, it's such an awesome feeling to be able to see the collaboration come through in the final project. And I just really hope that you can avoid some of the pitfalls and problems that a lot of the clients I've worked with have faced. If you want to learn more about how to find someone to write a book for you, I could be that person, maybe. Head to my website, goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below, and there you can schedule a free one-on-one strategy call with me. I'm happy to explore the project, to talk it through, to find out what your pain points, what your issues are, and help you forward, whether it's guiding you, giving you insight, or maybe we could work together. Whatever the case may be, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.